If you were actually doing these experiments that I'm doing, what would be going through your head? Okay, so first off, before we get to that, let's check out our tomatoes and our peppers. Those are in the off-grid grow towers. If you guys haven't been following that, watch some of the older videos that I have where we planted this out, and I've just left it and we're just maintaining the water level. So I don't let it get too low. Every few days I come in and I just keep it as high as I can up to the bottom of the pool noodle. Very simple, and that's all I've done. I haven't changed the nutrients or anything. And basically, look how big they are. We've got some peppers, we've got tomato blossoms, so we're just going to let this go, see how it goes. And we've also got some basil in the top. This was just one plant that I bought at the grocery store. I think it was $4 or $5. And just rinsed it off, separated all the basil, stuck them in there. And now they're doing fine. We're going to have a bunch of basil to come, and you can also take clippings off of this and make more plants if you need to. So stick around for one of the future videos. What we're going to do is take the lid off of one of the tomatoes and we'll check in there and look at the roots and see how they're doing. Right now I just peek in through here and everything looks fine, so just put that back on. Alright, now to the first experiment. I'm not going to keep you guys waiting. We're going to look at this. It's our plant stand. I just built that out of some lumber. Very, very simple construction. Anybody can build one of these if you need to. I'll have a video on it coming out soon. But the containers are from Target, and they're little 12-inch square containers. They're food bins, I think BPA free. Now I haven't used them before. Keely found these. We're shopping in Target and she said, hey, look at these. And these were $5. They had different size ones, like the one that you saw I made the nursery tray out of. That one was $4. These were $5. Now I'm trying a little experiment with these two because they are white and they're a little thinner than the buckets. They're not as sturdy. What I did was I got some of these, and if you guys are out there, if you're homesteaders or preppers and that, you probably know what these are. And these are Mylar food bags. They're airtight, moisture resistant, light blocking, right? So the people who have problems with algae. And now I didn't use these. You know what? I didn't use those. This is for something coming up later in the video. I used these. A 5-gallon one, so it's the same thing, same brand with everything. It's just a 5-gallon one, and this one's actually a little bigger because it's actually the Target container was a 4-gallon container, and we're not going to fill it all the way up. It's going to go about 2.5 gallons up. But I use this. It's probably a little overkill, but I just took one of those, set it in there, and filled it up because it's light blocking. The nutrients can stay in here. You can add water around it if you want to keep it a little cooler, and we'll have another video explaining how I put that all together. But right now that's what I use. This in the Target containers, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. So we're going to see how that works. I think maybe that will help keep it cool. It'll block out the light, and the square containers are now modular and you can move them around. And as you can see, we've got them stacked up. There's like 3. I've got one of my downspouts on the top, but you can actually put 3 more up on top of that. And you can make this a little wider if you want. You can make it a little taller if you know how to secure it. We're actually going to build one against the wall and build a little taller and secure it at the top. But I'm going to build more of these because I love them. They look modern. You can go ahead and paint out your rack, and Keely's going to do that. She's going to, dress it up. So whatever you guys want to see her paint on there, butterflies or plants or just stain it or whatever you guys think will look good, let us know down in the comments. And this is cool because however many of these you have, if you start out and you only buy like 3, you can put 3 up there and you can put plants in the other ones or a little sculpture or whatever and just dress it up. And if you get tired of seeing it, you can move it around and change it up. I think this is going to be really, really cool. And right now I'm the guy who just fills up stuff with plants. Keely's the one who's going to dress it up. But you guys let me know too if you think this is going to work, these little Target containers. I'm going back out. I'm going to go try and get 10 more. I bought the ones that they had 10. I bought 10, and I think I bought 5 the first time, but I think they got some more in stock. I'm going to go get some more because I just love this. So you guys let me know down in the comments if you think this will work out, what the pros and cons are of this. Alright, now next thing we have is this 5-gallon bucket, the little Lowe's bucket, right? The blue one. I just took one of those, same thing, the 5-gallon Mylar pull one of these out of here. And this is what it's actually meant for, is these 5-gallon buckets. So these go into them, and they've got a little Ziploc thingy on here, so you can see how big it is. It looks like it's a little overkill, so it was a little bigger, but I think that's so if you fill it up and you seal it and you cut it, you can use it a few times. But this way you can put it in like I did. I put a pool noodle here, and I'll show you that in another video where you're going to see a bunch of those, but it's not glued on. It's just held in there, and I'll show you how I did that, like I said, when I do the step-by-step video. But this, you can have your nutrients in here. You can pop it open, right? You can fill some more nutrients. You can zip it back up. That keeps all the light out, right? And whenever you need to, you set it in there. You know, when you have a bag full of liquid, it's like having, especially 5 gallons, right? But you can fill the outside container around it with a little more water like I did. So now it's in there, it's a little buoyant, right? So you have some more water. And I'm thinking, like, if it starts to warm up, you could always dump that outside water out and put some cool water in, you know, from your hose or some ice or whatever. And then you don't worry about your nutrients getting diluted or anything. Your nutrients are sealed up in here with your plant. But you can always go out a few times a day, even if it's getting hot, like some of you guys are living like where it's like really hot. But if you can keep this water around it cool, then I think that might help. So that's an experiment, and we're doing that on a bigger scale. You can see that in just a second. All right, so y'all tell me if you think that'll work, what the pros and cons and everything are. Give me your thoughts on that too. So don't be afraid to leave several comments or whatever. I'm going to go through and read them all, even if I don't respond. Like I said, it's just an experiment for all of us, and I want you guys in on it. So give me your thoughts, and if we need to, I'll switch stuff up along the way. What else do we have? That's just our little green onion. We've had this thing for 2.5 years, I think. You can actually go back on my channel and you'll see there will be one video how to make green onions, and we've had this planted out and left it out here. I hardly ever add nutrients to it. If I have leftover when I'm adding them to the plants, I just walk by there and just dump it in the top. It rains, it gets filled up, and I just dump off some of the rain, the water, and it's been sitting there for years and years. I don't take it in. It's made it through the winter. We cut them back, and the thing just grows like a weed. Now that container I had to switch out, so I'll show you that in another video. That was actually one of my original containers from way back 5 years ago that we were still using, so these things last. Let's see, the nursery table. All right, and this is our nursery table over here. This is where we have all our plants, and they start off. Now everything you see on here came from True Leaf Market, and that's the microgreen pack. I'll put a link to it down in the description. Those are the microgreens that they sent us, the variety. The only thing that's not from True Leaf is the Dino Kale. They didn't have that in that pack, and so we just bought one pack of Dino Kale, grew it as microgreens with all the rest of the stuff, and planted out the nursery tray. Now the long tube with the nursery tray, that is like one of the special steps of our continuous harvest system, and that'll be in another video too. But that's where we go ahead and start out our plants, and then we can take the best of the best, and we'll explain that system to, you know, anyone that's new that's seeing this. That's part of our system where we keep having greens coming over and over and over again. And as you see, the nursery tray looks like it's empty, and that's because everywhere that you see kale, little Dino Kale around the yard, that's where we've been pulling them out of here. So we come in, and then what's left here are like the scraggly little ones, right? So this is what we started them out in, and then when I need seedlings, I come over here and pull the best of the best, the best of the best, until I get down to the ones that are kind of iffy, and then decide what I want to do with those. Maybe get rid of them, start over, maybe give them a chance in their own little special container. But that's our nursery tray. And I got a couple of stone containers for the people who are just going nuts about the plastic and all the plastic in that. You don't have to use it. You can use glass. I even have a couple videos on stone, and people said you can't do that, and I just like to do things that people say you can't do, so we've grown a couple in stone. This is a little container we got from the Dollar Tree. I'm just testing it out. We'll have a full video on that. If this works out, we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to secure them up, and we're going to build that out like a tower too, but this is like the first prototype. So you guys can tell me if you think this one will work or not. I'm loving the idea of putting all the plants on the side. See, usually we would take this container, cut a hole in the top, stick the plant in the top, right? Because that's what we've seen, and we're just conditioned to doing that. Now we put the plant inside. Now you can get inside, see the roots. You can mess around with it if you need to, and you never fill it all the way up. You're never going to accidentally drown out your air roots. So I'm loving this design. All right, now this is something y'all been asking about. It's about growing in the heat, and I get this question a lot. You know, where I live out west, or it like gets over 100 degrees, and will the hydroponics make it? And I don't know, we get up to 100 degrees over here. The feel like temperature gets up to like 110, 112, you know, a couple of summers. We hang around the 90s and that all during the summer, so I'm not sure. But if you can keep it a little bit cooler, you know, than what I am, I'm pretty sure it'll work out. And this might help a lot of you. So our problem is, I've seen some people take their nutrients and they'll freeze nutrients and drop them in during the day, and do this every day, you know, just to keep the water cool. Now the problem with that is that you're having to mix up nutrients, freeze nutrients, put it in, and then they're checking the EC and doing all of that, and it's just like this constant thing that you have to keep doing all through the summer. Now my idea is that you keep the nutrients closed off. They're in the containers, and here we've used the Target containers again with the little Mylar bag in it. And what we're doing is surrounding it with water, and this is the idea came from when I used the actual frame that's here. We moved this thing around. We grew ginger and garlic in it, but it used to be up under our shade house. And if you guys have been with the channel a while, look back at the milk container garden, and I actually put the milk container garden in there and just surrounded all of the containers with water, and we actually grew a whole bunch of broccoli greens in there. And it kept them all cool. It went through the entire grow, and that was fantastic. And I think that, you know, one milk carton will heat up really fast in the summer, but with that entire thing, there's like 60 gallons. It holds about 60 gallons, I think. It kept it cooler, and that's the same thing here. So what we did was we just filled it up. This is just a frame, a little plastic put on it, and we just filled it up with water, and we stuck one of our pumps. This is actually the pump that was in our orange tower that we had, right? I just took the pump out, laid it down sideways to circulate the water, because everybody's always going, what about mosquitoes? So this is going to keep the water moving, because mosquitoes don't like the moving water. And then we're going to throw a little bit of oil of oregano or peppermint, and I think a couple people made some of those suggestions. Drop that in there to keep it rolling around. And Keely's got her little pot up here where she just ran some of the canvas straps in it and down into the water to act like a little wick, and that way it's a little self-watering and she doesn't have to water all the time. So she still checks it, you know, that when she first put the plants in, but after the roots get established, we're hoping that this thing's just going to water itself. So basically that's the water cooler. I'll have an entire video on that because I started it and I used it with my downspouts and grew some pak choi in it. So we'll have a video about that. But you guys, like I said, once again, let me know your thoughts. Do you think this will work? This won't work? Is it a good idea? Do you think it will help some of you all out there? Somebody out there said that they were going to take their buckets, like I've got the buckets with all the plants in them right now, and they were going to set theirs in a kiddie pool. So if you don't mind having a bunch of kiddie pools around your yard, and you can fill those up and set them in and surround them, that keeps your nutrients separate. And then that way, what you can do is if it starts to get warm, you can go ahead and take your hose and just stick it in the kiddie pool and run it, just like if your kids were out there playing and it warmed up and that, you put your hose in there and get some cool water in it, and maybe it'll keep your plants, the nutrients a little cooler without diluting them. Alright, and I've got one container off to the side here. This is just like a control to see if it grows any better. It's set up the same as the ones that are inside the cooler, and this one's out here in the sun by itself, and we're going to see how it does compared with it. So just part of the experiment. Alright, now here's terracotta buckets. Keely painted them. Everything was just looking like plain buckets. She's going to paint it. Some of you guys said you wanted to see some painting, so this is one of the first ones we did, and she just painted it. Like I said, we'll have another video. She just painted it like base coat black, and then I think there was like 3 different colors that were like orange or terracotta, and then a little bit of white spray on it. But we're going to set these up. We're going to put some plants in it, and like I said, because they're small, you don't want to go too tall. So about 3 is just right. That's cool. We got these at Walmart. They sold them, you know, for $1 with the lid. So 3 look fine. But if I want to do it like 6, Keely said she might paint it like a totem pole or something. They've got a handle on it. I was thinking of putting a pole, rigid PVC, or just a 2x4 or something just in the ground, and slide all of these on it with their handle, to hold them up and see if we can just stack them up 6 high. So that's just an idea I have. Like I said, let me know if you think that's a good idea, if that's kind of crazy. We haven't done that yet. We're going to plant those out. We're getting ready to do that. Probably do it tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, we're going to do something else besides kale. Some of you guys are getting tired of kale because we got a bunch of it out front, right? And this is the part that I said I was going to show you everything. This is my yard, okay? Over here, these are the grow towers. Over there's the plant stand. Right, there's a little water cooler that we built. Our shade house. That's our little work area over there on the left. And the ladder system on the rear wall. That's the one that had the different plants on it before we used the Mylar bags. And our nursery table. So that's basically what we have in the backyard. And out front we have the kale. We've got the milk carton garden and 3 more garden towers. And we're just growing a load of kale out there. Alright? So that's our whole setup. I'm not wanting to give people the impression that I've got some big epic garden going on and you know, or this is a homestead and that. This is a little tiny yard in the middle of a city, and this is what I want everybody. I don't want people to feel helpless, like they don't think they have a big yard, or they don't have, you know, the resources and that anybody, if I can do this in the middle of a city with a tiny yard, then you can too. So hopefully that kind of clears it up for everybody. I'm not hiding anything and just showing you guys the little good bits or just parts of it. This is everything. What you see is what you get. Alright, now another little cool experiment is the ladder system. This is where we used to have our downspouts going up. Fantastic system because we can go vertical, right? Grow food up the wall. And I just thought, you know, we were getting these bags, we were getting these huge ones, you know, for the buckets. We were trying that. And at the same time, I ordered little 1-gallon ones because I thought, you know, just like we stuck that one inside of the 5-gallon bucket, they've got 1-gallon ones here too. And they've got the little desiccant packets and labels and everything, but they're just like that, right? Ziploc bag too, light blocking, and they stay kind of cool. They reflect the heat. In the morning there's like dew, moisture, condensation all over here because it's still cool and it starts to warm up. So you can tell when everything's hot and there's like condensation on here that this is still a little bit cool. If you want to, you can always pop it open a little. You can always stick a thermometer in here to check out the temperature of your nutrients. You can open this up, add your nutrients into it, close it back up. I've got mine stapled across the top because I'm not really planning on putting nutrients in here. I want to just grow. I want to see how much will grow from the nutrients that are in here. And if I need to, I might just pop open a little space and stick a funnel in there, add some more, or I can pull the plant out and put some in. Now, I'll show you guys, we'll have another video showing how I put these together. These aren't glued on. I've got one with just a pool noodle, and then I've got some with a net cup and a pool noodle in it. So those videos will be coming. We're going to see if this grows or not and how it works, and I'll have a full video on that. But I just thought that was pretty cool. If somebody doesn't want to go try and find a bunch of buckets, or you know, come home or have your car or your garage and that smell like pickles, right? And you are looking for something else, you know, maybe, you know, it could be something like this, and you just set a bunch of those up. I think I got a packet of these for like 25 bucks, so 30 of them come out for like less than $1 a piece. And you could hang up plants, so if you can grow plants that way, you know, that's just another option for people. So I think that's pretty cool. Now Keely's got her little section over here. She's going to grow some cucumbers. Traditional, in the ground. We do a little of everything. Here's our compost pile. We got to keep it up off the ground because the Chihuahua likes to dig around and eat everything out of the compost pile. So you guys tell me what you think about this ladder system, if this is going to work or if it's not going to work. If you think I should have did it a different way, give me some ideas in that. Like I said, this is just, you know, my first thoughts. I just ordered those, put nutrients in it, put the plants in, and hung them up. So tell me if you think it's going to work out right. And of course, I had to try an Amazon bag because why not? You know, all of us out there are ordering from Amazon, right? And we've all probably got a load of these. I'm not suggesting everybody go out and do this. This is just my thought process. This is how I do it. Before I even ordered these, when it was just a thought in my brain, I had a package from Amazon, so I went and filled it up with nutrients. stapled it up there, stuck a plane in. So that was just to see if I could actually do it before I actually went and ordered those bags. So I'm just going to leave it there and see if it grows or not. Like I said, it's just, everything's just like a little bit of fun in that, right? Now there's a little mini tower that we have set up. Keely put some mint in here. It's a different variety. It's got real tiny little leaves and tastes kind of like chocolate or something. But she's got some mint growing in the top, and then I got the strawberries. You guys saw me put that together. They're just growing, and we'll see how they do. You know, we'll watch that in the next couple of weeks. But look at this setup here. You've got a big tower and a small tower. Keely, or a big bucket and a small bucket. Keely likes that look, and I kind of like that too. And you guys out there who are saying you don't have money, you can't do this, you can't do that, you don't have space. This is doesn't take up that much space, and it looks pretty neat. You can paint these like the terracotta or whatever color you want. But just setting it up there, these two I got from Walmart. Went up to the deli and asked them. He had one big one and one small one was from another Walmart, but each one of them was only $1. So you're talking about $2 right there. Just like the terracotta ones, people say I don't have money in that. There's 3 stacked up, $1 a piece. That's $3. For $3 and some nutrients, you can be growing some plants, right? So I think that's pretty cool. Keely likes that, and we might decorate. Tell us if we should decorate that or just leave it like it is, grow the plants, see how they do, and then maybe when we clean them out, we'll paint them into something else. And here's Keely's little strawberry bed. This kind of where we just put the leftovers. It's like an experiment. There's like some sunflowers, the peas that we grew as microgreens. Some of it that's left over we just dropped down there. The tomatoes, there's a couple of tomatoes on it, but these are just the ones that were left over that I didn't put inside of the garden towers. So I just stuck them in the ground over here because we have a little irrigation going on, so they were going to get watered. But you can look. And we don't do too much to this. We don't fertilize it. If I've got a little bit of nutrients left when I switch out, I might toss it in here. But really haven't done anything to this bed, and things, you know, just grow over here. So we stuck the tomato in, and you can see it's not all that tall. This is the same tomatoes that I planted into that garden tower. So you can see the difference between this one and the ones over there that are getting the nutrients that they need and how fast they're growing compared to, you know, this one over here that's just kind of neglected. So if you guys like all of that, it's a lot of experiments going on. It's fun, and like I said, I hope you're not disappointed, you know, that I don't have a huge garden, I don't have a huge farm. This is what we got. We're trying to help, you know, people out there, and not everybody has like acres and acres of stuff to farm on, and not everybody wants to grow that much. If we were used to like growing loads and loads of, like you guys saw us with all the pak choi and everything, and then you'd eat so much, you know, if you grow it to where it all comes in at one time, then it's just like being on a farm where you're trying to preserve some and give some to friends, and you're wondering what to do with it all, and then it's all gone, and then you wait until next season, right? So we cut down on what we're growing, so it's a lot easier, less to maintain, less for the bugs to get at. And we do it over and over and over so that we're rotating the different crops, and we have pak choi growing and then kale, so that we're not just eating pak choi, right? And we do them over in little batches and keep everything going, and that's part of the whole system. So we're not going to go out there and try to plant a yard full and then worry about what I'm going to do with all of it. Is half of it just going to go back in the compost pile or get put in the fridge, or do I have to spend days preserving things and all of that? I just want fresh food out there whenever I need it, the amounts that I need. I don't want to have to worry about giving it away and doing it. We're just growing what we need, and that's what a lot of you need to do out there, is to do it to have fun. Start small. Master the basics. Live to inspire. Keep on growing. And be the change. We'll catch you next time.